Today we find ourselves in the 5th week of Easter, as we continue to rejoice that Jesus is risen from the dead. But I have to ask you, has your life changed all that much now that he is risen? It's a fair question. We struggled through the dark days of Holy Week with him, through his betrayal, phony trial, crucifixion, and death. Then the Father raised him from the dead, in one sense undoing all the hatred done to him. But the price of the undoing was his death. So we might ask, do we have to die before all things are set aright? And we might ask another question. Was the resurrection the Father's emergency response to a game plan gone wrong? Then, too, we might ask, do Jesus' death and resurrection actually affect things in our world and in our lives? If not, why bother to believe? Today we find ourselves in the farmer's market in Sunnyvale, California, 3 miles south of Mountain View, where Google has its headquarters, and 12 miles north of San Jose at the far end of the bay. And what luxury we see here! What wealth of color and prospect of consumption! What richness and abundance of life! Where did it all come from? Is a good question. Even better are these questions. Do we see all this splendor for what it is deep down? And can we invite ourselves to see God's handiwork in these natural things, raising such brilliance from tiny seeds and a little water and a little sunshine? This generativity, this efflorescence exists in the same world as all the troubles of the day's headlines and the burdens of our immediate familial and professional lives. And this emergence from seed and soil fills us in nutritious ways for body and soul, just as the headlines starve us for meaning, value, and hope. So, to see this demonstration of color is to see God reminding us of God's existence and of God's constant, undiminished desire to bring forth life in us and for us. As we are able to enter into the joys of this farmer's market, God brings forth life within us in the form of joy, encouragement, and hope. Why did God make things beautiful? Whence beauty at all? Beauty is one dimension of God, along with justice, compassion, joy, and above all, love. All are of God's being. God shares all with us as part of God's creating creation in us and for us. But are we not being self-indulgent to rejoice in these lowly fruits and flowers when the rest of human life is so troubled? Is there anything beautiful about Jesus' crucifixion? Anything beyond the anger, bitterness, resentment, envy, jealousy, and lust for power? We might point to the beautiful moment when he assured the thief that they would be in paradise together that same day. Then there was the beautiful moment when he met the daughters of Jerusalem and St. Veronica on his way to Calvary, when they expressed such love for one another. Then there was the beautiful moment that Jesus, in all his pain on the cross, gave his mother into the care of the beloved disciple, who is us, and gave these same disciples into her care. Beauty is found all around us, in physical things and in human actions and speech. That said, much depends on what we allow to draw our attention and what we choose to value. Beauty, like the peace of Christ, can fill our hearts when our minds become filled with the troubles of the world, if we ask, and if we believe at least a little. I asked you earlier, do we see beauty for what it is, deep down, now that we are here in this farmer's market? Gerard Manley Hopkins offers us this assurance. And for all this, nature is never spent. There lives the dearest freshness deep down things. And though the last lights off the black west went, oh, morning, at the brown brink eastward springs, because the Holy Ghost over the bent world broods with warm breast, and with bright things. But you might insist there is so much destruction in our world. Should we not all be working to set it right? Well, yes, indeed, so much destruction and violence, over most of which we have no control. We can and must work for justice, but let's not pretend we can control the outcomes of all our efforts. We who enjoy affluence risk living in the illusion of control. Rather, let's see God's beauty where it is to be found, and invite ourselves into a prayer-filled compassion for the millions of people we cannot help. Lord, have mercy, we say at the beginning of Mass. Mercy on us and on the millions and billions of suffering folks whom we cannot help. An internet meme helps us reflect on the beautiful plant life we see here, and I quote, "Don't forget to drink water and get sun. You're basically a houseplant with complicated emotions." The plants here, houseplants everywhere, and all of us are in God's hands. Let us rejoice and be glad.